I wanted to tell you a little bit about this ghost that's in my house. And I'm serious when I say this. There's a spirit or something in my house, not my house, but where I live. And here's a little story of how I know there's something in the house. This one time, I was sleeping. About 3 in the morning, I shot out of bed. I had this feeling, oh my god, I'm gonna be late for school, because it was when I was in college. And I gotta get up, you know. So I go up to the alarm clock thinking it was going off, but it wasn't. Look, okay, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, what the hell? Okay, well, why the hell did I shoot out of bed like that for? I just got this instant feeling that I was gonna be late. So whatever, okay, so I go back towards the bed and I'm standing there and I'm, whew, that was weird, you know, I'm really trying to think and what in the world just happened here, and okay, collect my thoughts, go back to bed. But mostly I'm just standing there kind of confused. So, okay, I'm standing there confused. All of a sudden, about right here in front of me, I hear this breath go like that. Maybe a little softer. But basically someone sighed or breathed heavily. I didn't feel it, I heard it. And what happened was then, 2 seconds later, I heard my boyfriend roll around in bed. Breathed, basically lighter than that, but breathed just the same. 2 seconds later. So, not 1 second later, I thought, what was up here was not my boyfriend. I figured it was my boyfriend where he felt me shoot out of bed and go, oh, what's going on? It wasn't him. Because I heard him and felt him shift on the bed, and I heard him, you know, rumble around. Well, and this all happened within seconds, mind you. I realized that wasn't him. So within a split second, my mind says, get the F away. Just get away. And I threw myself backwards onto the ground, mind you. So my boyfriend shoots up out of bed and he just stares over at me like, what's going on? But he didn't say anything, but he was still asleep. So I'm like, I stared over at him. I could see him in the light of the alarm clock now that I was, you know, getting used to the dark again. But he was like, and just lays back down. But I was like, that was freaky. You know, I don't normally get this feeling of get away, like right now, sort of danger feeling. I just get creeped out from my own imagination. I've seen one too many horror movies, but I'm telling you, hearing right in front of you, like right here, you can tell level-wise where it's at, above you, below you, beside you, down here, over there. I mean, you'd be able to tell, and I was able to tell. It was right around here. On my boyfriend's side, it was down below, beside me, on my right. What I heard was on my left, about right here. So I'm telling you, there's something in that house. Well, here lately, in the last year or so, I've gotten some incense and some oils after reading on a site about Wicca. Now, I don't practice Wicca, I'm actually agnostic. You know, Christian other. So, I sit there and I went on those sites and I was like, you know what, I think I'll try another approach to get rid of this spirit, because I don't want to live in the house with a spirit, especially if it feels malevolent, because I've stood in the hallway outside of his dad's room where we do the laundry, and that's usually where everyone sees this black spirit of a thing. That's usually where you feel it the most. So what I did was I got these resins and I got these oils and I burned them. Most all of the different ones. There's ones for cleansing, ones for house blessing, there's one for protection, and things like that. So I burned all these different resins and oils in together at the same time, things like that. And I didn't tell my boyfriend, mind you. A few months later, about 3-4 months later, the topic came up, we were talking about it. I said, oh, by the way, I burned some oils and resins and to do a house cleansing. And I didn't say anything. I just said a silent prayer to myself, a Christian prayer to myself, and then burned these. But it's not like I did anything overt. I didn't want to piss anything off. And he said, well, that's funny, because for about that same amount of time, 3-4 months, I haven't seen or heard anything. that's got to show you something right there. But here lately, in the last couple days, he's been sick. And he said that he noticed when he got home, he was sicker. You know, the other day on Wednesday, I think it was. Thursday. He felt sicker when he got home. So he was like, do you have any more of those oils? I didn't know what he was talking about. I was on the phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? Those oils that you burn. What, for food? No, for the getting spirits out of the house. And I was like, oh, yeah. Why? What did you see? He's like, nothing. Can you burn it? I'm like, okay, all right. So I burned that. I burned 2 oils mixed together. I think it's dragon's blood and roses. Those 2 mixed together for a house blessing and a house protection or something like that. And then I also burned 2 resins. One was for a cleansing or something like that, and the other one was for healing. Because actually both of them, or the last one was for healing physical and also for house cleansing. So I figured, oh, well, since he's sick and the house needs to be cleansed, I'll do both because he needs to heal anyway. So this might be a different approach. So he was in the bedroom sleeping, sleeping it off because it was 11, 12 at night. I had just gotten off from work at 11, so it was probably about midnight, which is strange. So 12:30 or 1, I'm sitting here doing these house cleansings. Probably wouldn't work at 12, but I think it did work because he woke up at probably around 1:30. He had sweated so bad through the sheets. I mean, the comforter, the sheets, it was really sweaty, and his pillowcase too. And he hadn't done it the night before when he was the sickest. So yeah, I know people usually have to sweat out whatever they're sick of, whatever their illness is, but I don't know, he wasn't doing that before. He was getting cold sweats at work, but I don't know. So, I changed the sheets and everything, and he sweats again during the night, but not half as bad. But when he woke up at 1:30, as opposed to 2 or 3 hours earlier, his appetite was back. He actually said he was hungry again. He didn't feel as nauseated. He didn't feel, his headache had completely gone away, which is, he said his headache was there like all day. Really, really bad all day. So the headache was gone, and the nausea was gone, and the achiness was gone. He didn't feel half as bad as he had earlier. So you know what? I think it kind of worked. Then the next day he actually ate a whole steak instead of just a little piece of chicken and everything. He ate a whole steak. He didn't feel nauseated afterwards. Now and again today he said he has felt a little nauseated after he ate and early this morning, but I think it's just the residual of him being sick. But I don't know. I think it kind of helped him. I think it really did kind of help him to have something else, burning, to kind of aid him in healing faster. And I don't know. Maybe there's something there, maybe there isn't. Just my story, and I want to know what you think. Do you think that those healing resins had anything to do with his getting better within the night? Or do you think that I'm just blowing smoke up my own ass trying to think that, oh yeah, I got some oils and resins from a Wiccan site and it worked? I mean, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but you never know. I mean, a holistic, or it's not really homeopathic, but it's an earthy, herbal medicinal way of maybe possibly healing yourself. I don't know. But I just wanted to share that with you. Thanks, bye. Also, by the way, I wanted to mention that when we started feeling some presence in the house, I started getting really freaked out. I started getting pretty darn freaked out. So, being a Christian, which he isn't very much of, he's really agnostic. I mean, he believes there's something, possibly, maybe, but he's on the border. But I wanted to get myself my own crucifix for some reason, even though I'm not Catholic. My dad was raised Catholic, but I wasn't. So I got my own crucifix, but I keep it in the car. I do not want it stepping one bead in that house, because we're both afraid that it might piss something off and, I don't know, I've heard stuff like that happening, so we don't do anything like that in the house, and we don't talk about it in the house. That's why I'm driving as I talk. So, no, it can be like nults. So, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.